Elevated Grapes Podcast.
Elevated Grapes Podcast.
With your host, Sethi.
Your host, Sethi.
And Stylist Rashi Bindra.
It's time to get started.
Let's talk fashion, shall we? Elevated Grapes.
We can start.
Let's go.
All right, so welcome to Elevated Grapes. This is your host, Sethi.
And Stylist Rashi Bindra.
Why are we laughing already?
I was about to.
You're in the mid-sip.
Yes,
mid-sip.
and then I thought you'd be kind enough to do my introduction since we know how much I need this.
We never, ever do that. It's always I do mine and you do
I
yours,
know.
or vice versa.
You know what? It's time for a change. Change is good. Change means
Welcome
growth
to
in
Elevated
life.
Grapes. This is your host, Sethi, and Stylist Rashi Bindra, coffee sipping phenom.
Dear
And
God.
right now she's busy drinking coffee, so she can't have this conversation with you. So this whole podcast might be on my own.
Listen, man, as long as I get my caffeine in me, I'm totally fine with this.
So Rashi got here to the studio / home studio and walked in, and she's like, coffee. Yes, sir. Coffee, stat. I called the minions out, and they made the coffee immediately for her.
Listen, coffee keeps me pretty. It keeps me sane. Like, coffee's life.
Coffee keeps you pretty.
Yes.
Okay.
It does. This piece of work is all because of caffeine.
You're definitely some piece of work.
Excuse me.
So today we thought we'd spend some time a little bit more on the fashion side of our conversation. If you've noticed, our conversations take a little bit of a twist between fashion, styling, the industry, and lifestyle type conversations. It sort of became a natural progression. It just sort of happened on its own as we were working with our guests and just even our own conversations. They took that turn on their own. Some of the conversations of the fashion industry side are very business focused and sort of the business behind the fashion industry. Some of the conversation on the styling side, they're men focused. Some are not. Some are to do with styling and photo shoots. And then the lifestyle conversations, as you heard of some of them. They're related to the fashion industry, but they also are related to our everyday lifestyle and things that we face on a daily basis. So this one we thought we'd do a little bit of a bit more of a focus on back to the men's styling piece.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about
Shoes.
shoes.
See your face right now. It's
Shoes.
It's like
Well, you know what?
Christmas for you.
It is, because there's a stigma, right? There's a stigma that shoes are only for women, and having
Absolutely
lots of
not.
shoes and a closet of shoes and different styles of shoes are really a female thing, but it's not the case.
Oh no, trust me when I tell you this, there are actually more men that I personally know that have a bigger shoe closet than me.
Well,
And all my girls combined.
I'm probably one of them.
Yes,
but,
you are.
But I think, like, I have a really close friend of mine, and his wife. It's funny because she complains about it a lot. Like, he has one of the rooms in their house is essentially all his kicks. Like, it's just he's a sneaker collector. He doesn't just collect; he actually wears them, which is nice, because some guys will just collect and keep it in their boxes. And he literally has like a whole room full of, and he keeps the boxes. He won't lose the box. He wants the boxes as part of the collection item or part of his collection. So he has to have that extra space, because you can't just tuck them into boxes and little.
No, you have to. I mean, and I get that. Like, any amazing pair, any amazing shoes of mine, I need to have the boxes. I need to have it displayed on my box and just make it all pretty.
So I think and that's one of the things we'll talk about. That I think it's important to have different shoes for different occasions, or different shoes even for a similar occasion. And we'll talk about that a little bit. But I think sometimes the challenge in that is storage, because if you're going to keep shoes and more than a couple of pairs, it starts to space becomes an issue. And so their storage is an issue. Not everyone doesn't have the space, if you're in a smaller condo or whatever the case, to have all these things always open and available to view. I mean, I'm a visual person, so I like that. But even with me, like, I have to store some in boxes just because it's impossible.
Have one less bedroom and just turn that into a shoe closet,
But
like the Carrie Bradshaw. There you go.
Okay, except we're talking about gentlemen. And
can
also,
do that
some
too.
people live in studio apartments, and again, you don't have the space, so sometimes you got to be efficient with how you storage it. So barring that, it's worth it. Make sure you have the right shoe for the right occasion. So I think the conversation we wanted to have around the gentleman's shoe is twofold. One is the transition from sort of fall to winter.
Mm-hmm.
In Toronto, winter came a lot sooner this year than a lot of people expected.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of snowfalls.
Already.
I was in Niagara, and I came out of the casino area, and my car was parked outside, and because it's so close to the mist and it was so cold, the mist was actually dropping like freezing
Oh
rain.
my god.
So there was a massive thick layer of ice on my car, and it took me an hour to clean my car. So again, not things that I expected in the middle of November.
I don't think anybody did that. Cause like I'm working on a project and all our stuff is like supposed to be outdoors, and we spent 1 week not shooting because it was so
Too cold.
and it was snowing and all that stuff, and I'm just like, holy crap, that's like a week we just lost.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right,
So we're going to talk about the transition from the fall to the winter shoe, and then we're going to talk about shoes for different occasions, because a lot of guys do think that shoes are just, I have my brown pair of shoes and my black pair of shoes, so I can interchange between my different suits at work.
Mm.
And then I can interchange those same shoes when I'm going out to a wedding or to an event or
Mhm.
to a function. Not the case, right? Because there's different shoes for different occasions. Yes, there are some crossover, and you can probably use some shoes, and I'll show you some of the ones that I have that I can use in both scenarios. But the shoe essentially is, yes, that's your phone.
I'm not gonna look at it.
But the shoe essentially, you want to have different shoes for different occasions,
Right.
because they fit for different purposes. Your suit style might be different. The look you're going for may be different. And if you're wearing, your Steve Maddens and that sort of thing for work because they're comfortable and they're not necessarily the most trendy, they may not be the best shoe for your wedding or your special event occasion. So again, we're gonna go into a couple of those and look at that as well. So let's start off with the shoe that is kind of possible to use both in the fall and winter.
Go for it.
Is that a fair place to start?
Let's start with that.
Okay, so we have a couple. Actually, we're gonna show up some examples. I like to use. So you have a lot of the casual ones on your side. So let's use that. So let's talk about the high tops. So there's different types of high tops. You can have them in a sneaker format. You can have them in almost like a hiking boot format. There's that Doc Marten sort of the leather format, which
Yeah.
actually is another one that I have to buy this year that I don't have for this year yet. But if you look at, let's grab the black one and the
Let's grab these ones.
yeah, and
I
let's
actually like them.
and let's actually grab the other ones too. So this is, oops, I just moved my mic and I'm hoping it didn't affect my sound. So this is, I mean, branding doesn't matter, but it's a black high top. It has a little bit of a brown on the back end of it. The interesting thing about this is it's flexible with different styles of outfits. Now you can also take this and wear it with a jean and tuck in the skinny jean look with it, with a longer t-shirt, and it works with that. You can also wear it with the rolled up pants and have like a sock, like
Did we like do that last year with you when we did our first event together
yes,
with the gold sequence hoodie
we did.
that all your friends gave me a lot of like flake about?
They were like, "What the heck are you wearing?"
But you stood out and you looked
It worked.
good. It worked.
Absolutely. And I think I wore these same boots.
No, actually, but yes, you
I wore these
did.
same boots.
Because I wanted something red, and then we added like the red sock, and I made you like
Yeah.
change your sock like right near the bar.
Yeah, and the sock, and that's the thing, because you can fold up the pants, have the socks
Yeah,
a little bit
that's
tucked
what we
in,
did.
and you got almost like that the worker or lumberjack look with it with the boots. So I think this is a good boot that you can use in winter and in fall, and it's a good
fall,
transition piece. And same with this one. Again, a different color. And again, they're going to be used with different outfits. I mean, you can throw this on with a black jean. You can throw it on with a pair of khakis. You can throw it with a skinny jean. This you can throw with a skinny jean, but you might be able to wear like a lighter blue denim.
Or even just a blue denim, right?
blue denim,
and
yeah.
like a really like colored fun top.
Absolutely, absolutely. And some of the guys they like to wear those the ankle pants or pants that are cut a little bit shorter. Again, works well because the break on it won't look bad
Right.
with a high top boot. Again, both are amazing for the jogger look, right? Because the
Yeah.
jogger look, they cut in at the bottom and it tucks right in without you having to tuck it in.
And especially with guys who like their scarves and the hats, like that sort of accessories. too,
Absolutely,
it
you can
really works
accessorize
well
these things
there.
really well. Well, what we'll do is, I mean, they won't be this exact shoe, but we'll show you a couple of pictures on our Facebook page that will show how to work this style of shoe, the high top shoe in, and accessorize it. So we'll throw it with a jogger, we'll throw it with a skinny jean or a denim, so you can see how to accessorize the type of hats and scarves and things you
Well,
can wear
maybe
with it.
your next photo shoot, we should actually do that.
Yeah, we can use this style,
You know what I mean?
but that means we got to
Like,
do it now for like winter.
You give me your dates, man. You're the one who's like ruling the world. I'm like free
Yeah.
and doing nothing in life.
And then I like, so on the same high top, I like to have the Chelsea or something. I have to buy a new Chelsea this year too. But
Are you giving your like wish list?
Yes.
our listeners?
Yes, if anybody would like to buy me a Chelsea boot or a leather
Is that a
style
hint to me of buy
Doc
any
Martin
chance
boot,
for like Christmas?
please direct message me on Instagram and
Dear
I
God.
will tell you where to shipping
Please
information.
ignore this message.
But I think having a dressier high top boot is also
Mm-hmm.
important. So I got these this year and I really like them. I'm gonna get them in a khaki shade as well. But this is really interesting. So if you can't totally see it on the camera, we'll have the picture on our Facebook. Just search elevated grapes. But this has a grayish tone, a black tone, a white tone, and a khaki color tone in it. So you can pair this with so many different styles of
That's a
outfits.
very sexy shoe.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's
It's very sexy.
so like if you want to direct message me, I'll tell you where I got them. I found them online. I'm an online advocate. I find a lot of deals online and a lot of good shoes online. So these are online. The other two we showed you were not, but I'll show you the ones that are online. So again, this is a fancier. You can throw it on with sort of a khaki or a chino. Again, obviously a nice pair of jeans. You can actually rock this with a suit if you know how to do it right too. If
Yep, I can see it. I can see it.
Again, it's got to be a well-tapered suit or a bit of a rolled-up pant. The jacket is going to be a little bit shorter. It's not going to be your
Yeah,
suit length.
not
It's not going to be your
long
office
one.
suit length. So again, you can get a little bit funky with this, and you throw on, even if you're wearing a suit and you throw on a scarf like this with this shoe, it'll accessorize it nice. Again, a lot of different ways to work this, but a really nice piece. And this is going to be, it's a bit more trendy. It's not your everyday shoe. You're going to find different ways to wear it. I can probably find it ways to wear it every day, but
Again, we will do your photo shoot with all your shoes.
so this photo shoot is going to be a high top photo shoot, and you're going to see me style high tops and different styles of high tops in different ways. So again, a really nice, trendy. This is again a good fall to winter transition boot. It's not your boot that you're going to wear in the thick of the snow, just because again they're
no,
not
no, no, it's not that warm.
they're not yeah exactly. There's no lining. They're not meant to keep you warm.
It's a dressier
It's a dressier high top.
high top.
And a lot of
right?
guys, I mean,
So-
the first couple ones that we showed you with the tan color or the black color. I mean, again, you can interchange those and use a sneaker style high tops as well. I just have those in my repertoire. I'm not as big of a sneaker collector, but again, that's
I love sneakers.
oh, they're gorgeous. And again, I chose these instead when I was purchasing. So then on the casual side, I'm a big fan of loafers. I think loafers look good with a lot of different style of outfits, whether it's a chino. You can also take
It's
a dress.
easier to wear them, I find.
But
for
even
men.
like there's the penny loafer, which is a bit dressy. But even the standard casual loafer, I think, works if you want to dress down the dress pants a little bit. You can use. But the ones I have that I use between my fall and winter are actually vinyl.
Billy? Sorry. Billy's a lot more important than you right now.
So you saw her in our last podcast, and she's here again.
And here she is. And she's so pretty.
So Billy likes to play along and talk. Well, she doesn't really talk. She just kind of looks at stuff and smells it and says, "Yeah, I like this one," through her smell.
We should ask her which shoe she thinks we should like talk about next.
So Billy's our studio cat, and she likes to be in the podcast. And now she's
Yeah.
going, "Oh, look at that!
Hi.
Last time she didn't even want to sit with you."
Last time I was sad. Now I'm not.
Yeah.
There you go.
So the next one, so this one, the next shoe, the loafer that I have is a vinyl, and the reason I like it is because I can use it in a winter, even if there is a little bit of snow on the ground. I mean, not past the ankle where it's affecting my like the sock and the snow's in your shoe, and even if I get a little bit of salt on it, because it's vinyl, it's easy to clean.
Right.
So easy to clean, and again, it's a black, so it can look formal at the same time. So I'm gonna pull this one out. We just need the one. Like, for example, I wore these last night. There was a whole bunch of salt on them. I didn't totally clean them. I just used water a little bit. But I mean,
But
it's pretty clean even with the water.
yeah.
If I spend a few minutes and clean it up properly, they're gonna look like brand new.
So let's
And I've
just-
had these for
let's
3 years.
Just quickly touch on how do you clean your shoes, because I know especially with salt that's always like a huge issue.
So if you go to any of your local shoe repair shop in any of the malls, and ask them, so it's a 3-part treatment,
Okay.
like
Let's
as if someone
talk about your facial treatment for your shoes.
Yeah, basically, it's facial treatment for shoes. So they give you they have ones that are specifically for leather, but they have an all-surface one as well, like a coating. There's almost like it's a scrub, but I forget what it's almost like it's a stone of some sort. But you use that as your first surface to totally get the salt and the snow out. And then there's a smoother surface that helps to get rid of it, because it almost marks up your shoe a little bit.
Okay.
And so don't get scared when that happens, because it's going to look like your shoe's getting worse before it gets better. But essentially what it's doing is digging out the salt and the snow from within the shoe. And then there's a second layer which you put on, which is a smoother surface to rub out the dust or whatever that's created. And then there's a coating to put on top to to smooth it out and give it that look that it had before. So there's ones that are matte finishes. There's ones that are a bit more glossy shine finishes.
Well,
But with this, honestly, I use that treatment more on my leather shoes. I've hardly used it on this because again, it's vinyl. This I've literally most of the time is just a soft cloth with water,
and that's it.
and then
And it doesn't ruin the fabric, right?
no, because it's vinyl.
Very good.
So
to know.
and again, it looks like leather, wears like leather. She's gone.
I was waiting for my coffee. Okay?
Yeah.
She was like with me for a while.
So again, a nice transition shoe for fall winter and can be used for winter if you don't want to get some of your nicer shoes messed up. And because it's vinyl, it's not as expensive. So I mean, even if you like, I've had this one for 3 years and it doesn't look like I've had it for 3 years. But even if you want to replace it, you're not spending an arm and a leg to replace it, right? So it makes it easy to use over a couple of seasons and not think twice.
Well, you don't think twice, anyways. So.
No, I don't. But that doesn't mean everybody else does not. Okay, so this is one that Rashi wanted to talk about.
I don't want to talk about it. I just liked. Well, I mean, I've noticed not all men know how to dress these shoes up or down, and I just love.
So before we share them, what are your thoughts on the transition between fall and winter for this kind of shoe?
I think.
Is it usable?
Yes.
We're building suspense.
Yes. But not in a snowstorm. And
Of course.
definitely not when it's like crazy snow. Then you can wear boots and then change them. But yeah, it's totally usable.
So in what instance between fall and winter is this usable from your perspective?
Jean suits, joggers, like almost anything. Like even now, it's like what you're wearing. Just like throw these on.
Pull them
You
out.
know what I mean? And these are not the ones that I ruined. These are ones that he ruined and got new ones.
I did get new ones. So the white kicks. We
backstory for
need
this.
one. We need one. The white kicks.
So the backstory here for these kicks is that
We were at an event.
and
I'm going to tell my version.
no, I'll tell my version.
And then I'll tell you the real version.
We were at this event, and he's known as this big like superstar, DJ and stuff like that. So we were chatting, and one of the managers got me a nice glass of wine, and I was like, okay, cool. And then someone called me for something, because apparently I'm the person that still calls for stuff, even on a night out. And I was like, okay, I told him I'm keeping my glass of wine next to you where he was DJing, like, and because he had a small table like behind his stuff.
Right.
I'm like, I'm keeping it there. I'm gonna come back. I also believe not to waste alcohol, so I was just being, very, very prudent on that. So I was just.
And it was a
I'll
nice
just-
glass of wine.
It was a very nice glass of wine. So I kept it there. I go for the reason I was called, or like I do not remember why I was called, but it was like something silly. And then I come back, and he turns to me and he's like, "Your glass of wine fell on my shoe. My shoe's pink." I'm like, "I wasn't here. How did how's this my fault? You kept the glass there. I kept the glass behind. What did you do, dance?"
So the glass of wine was placed unstable and it
It
fell.
was not placed unstable.
It fell on my shoe, on my white shoe. And thing is, I've had this conversation with a couple of styling friends before, and I have a couple of pairs of white shoes that are not in the best condition. I'll wear them to events because I don't really care. Like, they work with the outfit in the dark. You can't really see how dirty they are, and I don't care if they get more dirty because they're not my favorite. And I'm very careful about wearing my white shoes in events because the same reason. I'm always fearful of something falling on them. And the one time I decided to actually wear them, and I'm like, you know what? I'm standing behind the DJ booth. Nothing's going to happen. No one's going to be there. It'll be fine. What do you know? Our own internal family affair. Listen, bad things, if you think about any mafia movie, it's always within the family.
Okay, first of all, in all these mafia movies, there is someone who always has your back, which is me. And you know that in this mafia movie.
Yeah.
However,
But the damage happened internally. It wasn't an external party.
I don't know. I was not there, first of all. And two, I know how. Okay, so in case you guys don't know this,
It was the business partner in the DJ room with a glass of wine. If you ever play Clue, you know what I'm talking about.
No, but okay, so he's very, very particular about his things. I've learned that, being his friend and like working with him and like being in different like situations, very, very particular. So I know even when I get him stuff, I have to like think twice. So I would not purposely drop a glass of wine on your shoe. Am I crazy? That's like asking for trouble. Who does that?
was placed in an unstable manner and it fell over on my shoe.
Or you may have just, had some fangirl coming to you, bumped and dropped the glass on you. By the way, and in case you guys don't know this, when he's DJing, like, I do end up acting like his bodyguard at times, or people think I am, because they come up to me, they ask me, can he play the song? And then all the girls are just like eyeing him. I'm like, yo, bro, just go. Why am I in this mix? Like, right there, just go. So it could be a fangirl.
I welcome them.
They're all yours.
Perfect. That's how
All
it should
yours.
be. All of them. You can again direct message me, and I will tell you where to contact me.
And you
Jerk.
can also,
Okay, so now we're going to move
manage
on to. So those are some of the casual ideas we have, and again, this is not an exhaustive list. You can look at some other ideas. If you want like a plain black sort of casual shoe, that's really nice for the fall winter transition. Again, goes with a lot of different outfits. The one I like a lot is, and I recently got a pair. Is actually my sister's fiance recommended to me. Was Sperry's. They make a really cool shoe, and they have various different
Was that
colors.
the one online that you guys found?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So that one, I mean, it's similar to a Converse style shoe. Again, a little bit different. So very comfortable, very functional, and easily exchangeable between different outfits, both on a casual and you can do the same thing you're doing with the white kicks with them. You can throw them on with the suit as well, to casual down the suit. But again, there's a couple of different options you can, and if you would like some ideas, shoot us a quick direct message. We can shoot you some brands and ideas. We're going to put a few pictures up from some links that you have on the similar concept style shoe. If you want to talk about that for a second.
It's more like the patchwork sneakers, right? Like
Right.
now that's also becoming a huge trend, and that is part of the from fall to winter.
So as you're listening, if you want to Google what patchwork sneaker is, or go into our Facebook page, we'll have a picture of it there.
Yeah, well, I'll like throw some of those things up. So it's exactly what it sounds. It's like patchwork designs on sneakers, and some of them are very colorful, some of them are not, and that just adds like a flavor and like a flair to it.
Yep.
And the thing is, these shoes inside are lined or they're insulated, so they actually do keep you warm.
Yes.
And that I think is and this is going back to your point earlier, men have more options now in shoes besides the black, brown, and blue. These shoes are almost tailored to men who love going out for like different occasions. They enjoy dressing up their outfits with shoes. I mean, I know a lot of guys who just love wearing blacks and blues and whites and grays.
Which is fine. You can stick to that.
Totally
But you can
cool.
throw in some funky shoe to change it
But
up.
they love shoes. They
Yes.
love hats. They love scarves. They love bracelets, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm wearing all black and gray today. It's
I was
simple colors.
I was gonna say they all look very sexy, but then you like interrupted.
Oh, thank you.
I did not mean you.
I appreciate the compliment.
Oh dear God. Moving on. So that's one of my favorite trends actually for fall.
Yeah, and I think that's great. So we want to get into the dress shoe.
Yeah, go for it.
And so we talked about there's a common dress shoe you can use sort of between work and play.
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at. I'm going to show a couple of ideas for that first. So I'm going to
Yes,
go out.
boss.
I'm going to jump out of. What the heck was that?
I'm just going by you.
That coffee just kicked in, didn't it? Yeah,
And I want more.
that coffee just kicked in. What flavor did we give you?
The vanilla hazelnut.
Yeah, I was gonna give her just a straight Colombian Timothy's Keurig, and she's like, "I want flavor." That was the
I
exact
do not
voice
speak
that she
like that,
used.
by the
That was
way.
the exact, I want flavor. I'm like, okay, calm
Okay,
down.
listen. So I've told this man,
Geraldine.
okay, to find me a person, a nice guy to date. If you make fun of me like this, no one is gonna date me.
No, because they know you're a normal human and they can act normal with you. Here we go. Because now we're gonna look at some. I'm gonna jump out of the scene for a second because the shoes are on the floor and I just gotta grab them. So Rashi, you can talk to all our friends.
And talk to them about what? Your hat?
And I'm back. So we'll look.
I can hold these.
So actually, I'll just need one of each. So
Men.
I'm gonna pick up. So this is a black pair that I got recently.
I like them. They're very
So
sexy.
I found the exact same thing in a brownish tan color. So I'm probably gonna get them too.
I'm not surprised.
Because I have a problem. But anyway, so it's like a wingtip almost, but it has a bit more of funk to it. If you can see them or not, again, we'll have a picture on our Facebook page of all these shoes. It has a checkered pattern up here, the wingtip sort of over here, sort of the cleaner Oxford lace look over here, and a little bit of work on the side. So again, this is fun for play if you're at a wedding or a special event, but you can also wear this to work. The first couple of times I was a little bit hesitant to wear it to work,
Mhm.
just because I was like, well, it's a little bit maybe a little bit too funky. But
No.
you know what? It's very cleanly done. So again, if you can find something like this, I also like this little work, between the
Hmm.
split between the checkered and the wingtip look. So again, you can use something like this, both for work and play. This is a crossover shoe, but again, you got to keep in mind that if you're gonna have something that's gonna be a crossover shoe between work and play, its lifespan is gonna be a lot less because it's gonna get a lot of
Yeah.
mileage. So you would be mindful if it's a shoe that is really expensive, or that has something sentimental for some reason to you, or whatever the case. Like, you want to be careful about using it, overusing, because it's not gonna last as long as you may want it to. Because sometimes some shoes are hard to come across, and if you end up using it and
Yeah.
it's gone, then you're not gonna get access to it again. So
Or if you're like me and half your stuff in your room is all, gifts from friends and things like that, no matter how worse condition they do end up being in, you just do not get rid of them. And
Yep.
then it just looks like a little, hoard house.
there you go.
There you go.
So this is, what's really funny,
What?
and I'm sorry I just did that, but I totally tuned out everything you just said there, and I just said there you go, just to move on, because I didn't know what you said.
I am physically hitting him now.
Hey, at least I'm
With
honest.
his shoe.
At least I'm honest.
You do that to me all the time. And then, we're friends, man. We're close. Dude, you don't hear half the shit I say.
We had a conversation before we started the podcast, and we both came up with two different scenarios. And she told me the scenario one, and I'm like, I don't remember. And she's like, how do you not remember? I explained the situation to you in detail. I'm like, but I do remember this situation, and it was about her and something she went through. And she's like, I don't remember that. I'm like, hold on. So you're gonna criticize me for not remembering something, and I gave you an exact same scenario in another situation with a similar situation about yourself, and you don't remember.
Because I do so many events, I do not remember
So
that
then,
situation.
then you can't fault me for not remembering.
Okay, but how many dates do I go on? None.
Okay,
The
see-
one or two
See,
that
I was
go
trying to be
on-
very, very kind and courteous and not mention that these were dates that we're talking about.
That's
that you went
fine.
on. So Rashi went on two different dates. She explained one of them to me, and she's like, "Remember the date I went on with this guy?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "This happened. I explained this to you." And I'm like, "I remember that part of it, but I don't remember the date piece." Fine. And I'm like, and I'm like, "Well, you did tell me about this other guy, and you went on a date, and then he saw you at some event, and blah 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 blah." And she's like, "I went on a date with someone and saw them at an event after." I'm like, "Yes." I'm like, so you don't remember your own dates? How are you expecting me to remember your dates?
Well, because,
Clearly,
I tell you all my stories.
I'm just saying, Rashi maybe goes out on a lot of dates, and she doesn't
I
remember.
don't. I actually don't. And I think the two dates this entire year that I've gone on to are clearly not very memorable.
I remember one of them. 'Cause one of them you were quite in. It was not a good date, but I think maybe that's what I remember. Okay, so we're gonna run through the last few real quick, just because we're almost out of time here. So this is a penny loafer. I like it. This I use as a crossover. I use it at events, and I use it at work as well. This is probably my most used work shoe.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah,
just-
I
it's
think
easy,
I've
it's a
seen you
slip-on.
in them.
I wear them
quite a few
quite often.
times. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
And this one, I'm at the point where I have to buy a second one now because there's some scuff marks that I can't get rid of, and the sole's a little bit depleted. So
But
I will be buying a new
how
one.
long have you had those for?
Almost 2 years now.
Okay, so then that's like fair, especially since you wear them like pretty much.
I
all
wear
the
them almost
time.
every day.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said, the few times
At least
I
three,
take you
at least
a
three
lot,
times a
then
week,
yeah.
and then maybe once on the weekend. So
Right.
this gets a lot of mileage.
There you go.
So the last three shoes, I'm gonna get out of the scene again. I'll be right back. I'm doing a stretch.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We actually get shit done, guys. Like, it's amazing.
So this one actually, originally I didn't use it as a crossover. I used it as a going out shoe, but it can also work as a crossover.
It can work, but I do see it.
It has a bit of funk to it. Again,
Yeah,
my shoes usually have a little bit of something funky to them. The last penny loafer didn't. This one has a bit of a funk. It's a nice dress shoe with a little bit of work near the lip, and then it has the laces on the side, which is what's cool about it. So a nice little way to sort of change up the look and give your look a little bit of spunk. Now some trendy shoes. The trend.
Which one?
So-
Oh, okay.
I think blue is a funky color you can throw into an outfit with
By
a
the way,
suit.
just a note, guys, if you can carry the shoe off really well, you'll be one of the sexiest guys I would meet. Because I think that was my problem with these past two dates. Like, they did not know how to dress. And I think that's why I do not, like, remember them. So, guys, shoes are also to make sure that girls, keep you in mind for future.
Shoes are a big thing, definitely, and it's definitely important to make sure you look good from the shoe. Because a lot of females, that's the first place they look for some reason.
Okay, so here's the thing. We actually look you up and down And it takes us 5 seconds to know, one, if we're going to go out with you again, and two, if we're going to, do stuff with you as well.
What stuff are we talking about?
Moving on.
So this is really cool. And again, this is not. It looks like snake skin. It's not real snake skin. I wouldn't wear anything like that. But the look is amazing. It's a black with blue lining in between. It looks like a snake skin ridge outline on it. Again, we'll have the pictures of this on Facebook if you can't totally see it in the screen. But I rocked this at a recent event. I'll show up the picture of that right now too, so you can see it.
How would you dress this up?
So I actually wore a blue blazer. I wore a maroon pair of pants. I had a white shirt, and then I wore these with it.
Oh, was that the picture where I said you have a nice smile when, it was
Yeah, you weren't focusing on the shoe at all.
Wow, give a man a compliment, and this is the response you get, guys.
So I rocked this at the City Moguls event.
Okay.
This is the shoe I wore there. So I'll show you. I've rocked it in a couple different ways. You can wear it with a pair of black pants as well. You can also wear this with a pair of jeans.
Jeans, yeah.
It's really nice with a pair of jeans, and it sits really nice because some of these. And be careful, guys, if you're wearing dress shoes. Whoa. Stay where you are. If you're wearing dress shoes, some dress shoes you'll find they have this thing where they go up at the tip. This one sits flat, so just try to get the ones that sit flat on the floor. The up look doesn't. Oh,
Billy got excited.
Billy's excited. She's playing. So this has a bit of an up. Not it's a very small uptick, but just be mindful that you don't have too much of an uptick, then you look like Aladdin. Speaking of Disney characters, one of my most recent favorite purchases.
It's the Mickey shoe.
It's the Mickey
I'm very
shoe.
excited.
So it has like little mini studs on them, and then obviously the Mickey Mouse / Dead Mouse.
Dead Mouse?
Yeah, the EDM DJ. That's he has a very similar, but this is Mickey because it's a Disney.
Let's
shoe.
just stick to Mickey.
So I got this one from Aldo because they have a Disney collection.
And how do we get that shoe?
We're not talking about this. Rashi and I almost ruined our friendship that day.
No, we didn't. I just,
I got ordered around to pick up shoes in the middle of the night when I had plans.
And you got that for yourself as well, right? We got the shoes that we both wanted. And you know this about me. If I want something, if my heart's set on it, I'm going to make sure I get it. And I'm acting like a child right now.
We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with some closing thoughts.
Hey guys, we're taking a quick break just to remind you where you can find our podcast online.
You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Tunes.
Apple Music, but you call it Apple Tunes.
Whatever.
Right. You can also find us on TuneIn, on Google Play, and of course Instagram when we do it the first Tuesday of every month.
And Facebook, here and there.
Here and there.
Here and there.
So thanks for tuning in, and now back to our podcast.
There you go.
All right, guys, so that was our half-hour shoe talk for gentlemen's shoes. So as you can see, there's a lot of different options and different types of shoes to wear in different environments. So we do encourage you to experiment. Try different styles of shoes. If you don't know how and you have some questions, DM or email or hit us up, and there's many different options. If you search Elevated Grapes on Google, you'll find all our different outlets to get in touch with us. And we'll give you some ideas. Just talk to us about an outfit you're thinking about, and we can give you ideas for shoes.
Absolutely.
If you don't already have. We can send you some pictures and some ideas. That way, if you're shopping, you can look for something that's similar. We can definitely recommend some thoughts and ideas for you. Any closing thoughts?
Always make sure that you have a pair of Mickey Mouse shoes. And do not ruin your friendship over it. Just explain to the person it's very important that you need to own them. That's all. Yeah.
And on that thought, we're going to close off. Thank you again for joining and being with us on Elevated Grapes. We will
Until
see you
next
next
time.
week. Bye.
Guys, thank you for watching that podcast or that video. If you like what you hear and you want to hear more of us and see some of our behind-the-scenes stuff, subscribe below.
Yes, hit that little red, button thingy that's over there and hit subscribe and keep following us for a lot more cool, fun stuff.
Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you soon.